أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل وسلم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما تحب وترضى بأن تصلي عليه بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته اللهم علمني وعلمنا ما ينفعني وما ينفعنا وانفعني وانفعنا بما علمتني وعلمتنا وزدنا علما وصلى الله تعالى على سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وسلم تسليما كثيرا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. We're discussing the topic of Al-Kahf, and we've gone to the point wherein Al-Kahf have sought refuge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by making the dua رَبَّنَا آتِنَا مِن لَدُنْكَ رَحْمَةً وَهَيِّئْ لَنَا مِنْ أَمْرِنَا رَشَدًا. And in order to escape from the evil of the oppressive king and from the ideology of the people that subscribe to this way of thinking, these young chevaliers, futuwa, people of chivalry, took to taking refuge in a cave to escape all this evil that was taking place, right, and to preserve their deen. I said one of the themes, I think there are 4 themes that I had mentioned about Al-Kahf. One was the challenge or the trial of faith, right, eventually coming to the triumph of faith. Okay, if you remember that there, one of the 4 themes that we had mentioned, and this is the trial of faith and the triumph of faith. So these people, these Kahf, took refuge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and sought protection for their deen and for the preservation of their iman by taking refuge in a cave. And they said they would spend the time in the cave there up until the king leaves the area or situations change, which will enable them to freely practice their deen. Now, you and I are in a condition which we had started off last week, wherein, right, you can't disengage from the dunya. You can't disengage from the dunya, right? But you've got to be in a situation there wherein you can detach yourself. What do I think I use a fancy term for it. What was it? Insulate and isolate. Right? You've got to insulate yourself. Now, where did this come from? The hadith of the Prophet. I was looking for this hadith for a while there. This is a hadith, the Holy Qur'an says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu alaykum anfusakum. Listen to the words of Allah. O you who believe, you have charge of your own selves. You are responsible for your own selves first. Right? La yadurrukum man dhalla idha ihtadaytum. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, he who errs, right, cannot injure you if you are rightly guided. If someone who is astray, right, and if he's going astray, he cannot harm you if you are rightly guided. Very critical verse for this era, for this modern era. Okay? It in Surah Al-Ma'idah, it's verse 105. Right? You can look it up. No one who has been misguided can cause you any harm if you are rightly guided. So Allah is giving you a guarantee here. If you know you've been correctly guided by Allah's mercy, right, and Allah's favor, then be aware of this fact that every effort by anybody to cause you any spiritual harm won't happen. But let's see the circumstances in which what is the meaning of this tafsir of this verse of the Holy Quran. It's a hadith narrated in Sunan Ibn Majah, it is narrated in Tirmidhi, it is narrated in Sunan Abu Dawood as well. Okay, so in 3 of the 6 major books of ahadith, this hadith is mentioned. I'll give you the hadith now. Abu Umayyah Sha'bani, right, a sahabi of the Prophet ﷺ, troubled about its meaning. He got worried about the meaning. What does this mean? Right? Because some of the sahabis, and Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu anhu also mentioned to the sahabis in one khutbah of his, which is also in Tirmidhi. He said, you people take the wrong meaning of Ya alladhina amanu alaykum anfusakum. Right? Because at that time when they saw trials and tribulations or whatever it is there, right, what they did, they started to confine themselves to the house and they started to disengage. They started to insulate themselves. So Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu anhu said, hey, hold on, you people are getting the wrong end of the stick here. Right? And you misinterpreting this verse. So you've got to understand the context in which you should be applying this verse of the Holy Quran. Now listen to this. Right? Abu Umayyah Sha'bani radiallahu ta'ala anhu, a sahabi of the Prophet, some trouble about his meaning, asked his fellow companion Abu Tha'laba al-Kashani. He said, what should I make of this verse? When Abu Tha'laba radiallahu ta'ala anhu visited the Prophet to inquire of him how to interpret it, the Prophet explained. Listen to his explanation. He says, when does this verse apply? In what context does this verse apply? Oh, you who believe, you have charge of yourselves. You've got to take responsibility for your own self. He who errs and who is astray cannot injure you if you are rightly guided. The Prophet said, he said, enjoin good and forbid evil. What is the responsibility of every human being? He is to take charge of himself, but he should be actively engaged in enjoining good and forbidding what is evil. But the Prophet ﷺ said, continue enjoining good and evil until you see the corrupt obeyed. Until you see the corrupt obeyed. In that era as well, there was corruption. But the degree of corruption that you and I see in the world right now, in the Muslim world right now, I can't see one Muslim political leader in any country that you can say is not corrupt. Until you see the corrupt obeyed. And people obey them out of fear, out of conformity, or by virtue of the fact that they benefit out of the corruption, right? Or various other reasons why people would just succumb to people. And the Prophet said, you continue to enjoy good and forbid evil until you see the corrupt obeyed. Base passions followed, and the material world, dunya, exercising a powerful influence. So 3 things he told you. He said, which you must look at signposts. When you see these things happening, then you need to put up your red flag, say, hey, hold on, what's going on here? Until you see corrupt obeyed, base passions followed, right? When you know what you're living, you give into your desires, whether it is material desires, whether it is physical desires, whether it is sexual desires, whether it is personal desires, whatever it is there, right? When you see base passions followed, and today it's all about giving into your desires. Everything is geared and everything is directed towards compelling you to give into your base desire. We've discussed on numerous occasions, I don't need to give a tafsir on that, right? And the material world exercising a powerful influence. Does that need any discussion whatsoever? Come on, man, we're all being trapped left, right and center. Gun is literally being put by our own heads, by our own hands to our own heads. Hey, give into the material dunya. Then the Prophet ﷺ said, when this occurs, each person will cherish his own opinion. What will be the characteristic of that era? Will be that every person will cherish his or her own opinion. I mean, what you want? Everyone is on his own Twitter feed. Everyone has his own Instagram account. Everyone has his or her own 180 characters, right, to say their own things. Everyone cherishes their opinion only, right? And they're not afraid to tweet their opinions to the whole dunya. It never was like that. Today, you have a platform to freely express whatever is going on inside here, regardless of the consequences. And that's what people do today. Everything is like, oh my word. Every part of your life and everything that happens in the dunya, everybody is free to comment. When you see the comments, after, you go to any website, you read a newspaper article, and you see the comments at the bottom. Ya Allah. Go to a lecture, listen to a lecture, and you see the comments at the bottom. Or anything. Anything. Have you seen the comments? I mean, the comments go from the sublime to the ridiculous. And what the Prophet ﷺ said, he said, when this occurs, each person, this will be a consequence, each person will cherish his own opinion and not suffer being commanded by another. Today, no one wants to be told what to do. Your own children don't want to be told what to do. You don't tell me it's my life, I can do whatever I want to do. It's my decision. You know what, you can. No one wants to be told what to do. No, I'll do it myself. No, you don't need to tell me, I can think for myself. And that title has been given there, you are a master of your own destiny, do whatever you want to. And no one will suffer being commanded by another. At that time, you must take charge of yourself. Right? Take charge of yourself and abandon the popular masses. And whoever follows in their wake. What is it today? It's about mass mentality. And who follows in their wake. What happens? You must avoid the masses. And who follows in their wake. Today, people have hundreds and thousands of followers on Twitter, on Instagram, on this one here, and that one there. And that's the popular mass appeal of the social media today. Social media has revolutionized the world. Why? Before, exposure, being exposed to the whole world and becoming famous was the privy of a small group of people who had access to television, who had access to radio, who had access to the newspapers, who had access to film. Those are the only people who had access to a broad public broadcasting platform. Who doesn't want to be on TV? Anybody here? Anybody doesn't want to be on TV? I can organize for you, no problem. I'll sort it out. Who doesn't want to be on TV? Who doesn't want to be in the newspapers? Who doesn't want to be on radio? Who doesn't want to be interviewed? Right? I know of people who are being, who are being interviewed on radio and they dress up for it.
They got a face for it. They got a face for it.
Right? Yeah, you have a face for radio. Really? Everyone wants to be on TV.
CCTV cameras will be
Oh yeah, let's not go through the CCTV cameras right now. That's another story altogether. Right? Everybody wants to be on TV. But before, like, if your picture came in a newspaper, it was like celebrity status. By today, everybody wants to be a celebrity. Selfie. See that. Wallah. And the Prophet ﷺ said, he said, follows in the way, for verily, in subsequent days there will come times that will demand untold forbearance. You'll require a lot of patience for you to follow in your deen, and for you to subscribe to the tenets of your deen, and for you to be able to not to be taken in by all of these things will be extremely difficult. Alright? In that day, whosoever perseveres with patience will be like a man who takes hold of a blazing ember. That's how difficult your deen will be. Like you're holding a hot coal in your hand. The hot potato? This is too difficult, but hey, just leave this religion alone. Right? Alright? His reward shall be that of 50 men who do as he does. Meaning, the reward for that person who can maintain his composure, who can maintain the sanctity of his spirituality, who can maintain the sanctity of his iman and the sanctity of his deen in the wake of such challenges, will have the reward of 50 people. Right, who do as he does, which is to preserve their faith. In the hadith of Abu Dawud, the Prophet of Allah, do you mean the reward of 50 of their men or 50 of our men? The Prophet replied, no, the reward of 50 from among you. Then the Prophet of Allah said, that person in the last days who will subscribe to Qur'an, who will subscribe to Sunnah, who will try to live Islam the way Islam was meant to have been lived, and will not be swayed by the material world taking hold of him, who will not obey corrupt people, right? Who will not give in to his own opinion and subscribe to his own opinions first, right? Who will not be, who will not be averse to being commanded, being told, do this, do that. This is the right thing to do. Instead of cherishing his own opinion and own right. The Prophet of Allah said that person will receive the reward of 50 of Sahaba in terms of his living and and doing his actions. 50 Sahaba. Equivalent of 50 Sahaba. That is what the Prophet ﷺ said. So he said, don't think that when we said, insulate yourself and not isolate yourself, and what Al-Kahf did was of no consequence. Wallahi, in this day and age there, if you can find yourself a cave there, please go inside the cave and go and chill there. The Prophet ﷺ said, he said, one of the signs of Qiyamah would be that the best person amongst you, and the best thing for a person to do will be to take some of his goods, take some of his stuff, take some livestock here, and go live in the mountains. And he spoke about those people there who will cut themselves off, right, from the janjat of the dunya. Right? Subconsciously, when people want to go on a getaway, get away from it all, want to break away from it. The pressures of dunya and the pressures of business, the pressures of that. I promise you, one of the reasons subconsciously they don't realize is that their own body and their own ruh is crying out, right, for some degree of solace from all of this fake artificial world that you and I live in. The homework I told you about last week? How many of you did it? Have you seen what a fake superficial world you live in? The fake food you're eating, the fake places you're visiting, the fake things that you're engaging with. When I mean fake, the superficial things. Nothing natural about it. From the clothes that you're wearing, from the cars that you're driving, from the way you exercise. I had a membership at the gym before it was Virgin Active, right? What it was called before, the Health and Racket Club, and what a racket that was when he went down, you understand? Right? I can't understand how people, right, can buy into the whole gym culture. For those of you who go to gym, well, good luck to you. Right? Standing on a treadmill, literally going nowhere, and you call that exercise. Really? I don't get it. I don't get it. Allah gave you so much of place to walk, right? You understand, on a treadmill and doing this. And that too, I don't know whether this is Habibia. I remember I used to feel sick in those places because, that smell of chlorine, right? And they had like this disinfectant thing. Man, you get a headache from those places. It's such an artificial place it's closed. And I'm claustrophobic, right? So, it's like, it's so artificial. Really? Do people want to do this? Hey, man, what the hell with this, man? My children like the pool. I said, what's wrong with you people? Look at the beach. No one wants to go to the beach. I'm serious. No one wants to go to the beach. No one wants to feel the real water, salt water. They don't want to go inside those things there. If you had an option of doing something real, as opposed to the artificial generic option, 99% of the time you're choosing the generic option. Serious? I'm serious. You see all the fake holidays that people go to in Dubai. And ask them what they're going to experience. Everything fake? Everything fake? A made-up world called Ferrari world. A made-up world called what Disney, what do you call it in there? Huh? Atlantis. Right? A made-up world called the Burj Al Arab and Burj Al Khalifa and this one here. And a made-up world where in the midst of the heat of summer, you can go there and put on, the warm jackets and everything, and you go skiing. And Salah, bloody, $65. If you can't see, they're telling you, wasting your time. Hazrat, what you doing over here? Come here, we'll give you a couple of lessons. And Salah, what artificial world you and I live in? And you really think it doesn't affect you? You really think it doesn't affect you? The biggest question that none of you would have ever thought of during this course of week, even if you didn't do the homework, or if you did a little bit of the homework, would be how many real people you met? How many real human beings you met? How many of people, there's one ad, I remember, you see a smiling face and then you see they take it out and you see that. How many real people you met? How many real human beings you met? Insan. Wallah, how many real people you meet today? All of them have fake smiles, right? Artificial lives, propped up ideas. And if you were to see a real human being, chances are you say, who's this? No, I'm very serious. Wallahi, you say, no, go away from here. Go away from here. Go away from here. That's how we become accustomed to superficiality. If you were to see the Sahaba, if you were to see Bilal Habashi, if you were to see the Holy Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, right? And if you had seen the simplicity of the lifestyle and the simplicity of the way the Holy Prophet ﷺ used to conduct himself, you say, man, he can't be a king, man. He can't be the master of the world. Really? Really? Right? He wouldn't be comfortable. The Prophet of Allah would not be comfortable in the comfort that you and I aspire to. As I asked you, really, do you think you can go spend 3 days in a cave? Come on. I want to take people on a sunnah holiday. I want to take people on a sunnah holiday. Who will come? Tell me who's going to come. Who's going to come on a sunnah holiday? It means you climbing up into one really, and purely as one example, right? We climb up there, like somewhere nice and high, right? And go and sit down there with just enough put costs to keep us going. No running water, no electricity, no what mosquito repellent, right? No real bedding, right? Or anything of that sort there, and no bathing for 3 days. No bathing for 3 days. And all you got to do is keep silent and make ibadat. I'm willing to wager, and I'm not a betting man, right? Your nafs will go crazy in under 6 hours. Your nafs will go crazy in under 6 hours. Right? And like that, I think it's a VW advert, right? When everybody's sleeping, you come down there, go sleep in a hotel room there and come back. Sorry, no. Talking with VW. Yeah. No, really, wallahi. I don't know whether I would survive because we've never been exposed to that. But the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when the Arab culture at that time, when he was born sallallahu alaihi wasallam, where was he taken to? He was taken to Da'i Halima, the wet nurse. Right? What was their job? Right? To give him the best type of nutrition possible. Because the women of the city of that time, right, still had some degree of artificiality and superficiality in type of food that they had and whatever. These people were eating natural food. These people were, you and I, if we drink milk straight out of the cow's udder, you and I will end up with diarrhea. Do you know why? Because our systems are not used to natural stuff. But the people in Pakistan, my cousins and them go there, one way there's a chai bana, they drink it, nothing happens to them. You and I can't drink water out of a borehole, even if it's absolutely pure water, clean water. You and I can't drink it. You'll end up with a stomachache. Because your stomach is used to rubbish. Really, your stomach is used to rubbish. And the food that you try to eat there, rubbish. The holidays you and I go for, rubbish. You know the biggest, ask any doctor, what's the best solution for backache? You know what he'll tell you? Sleep on the floor. He said, sleep on the floor. He'll tell you, sleep on the floor. He said, your back problems will be gone. Someone came to me with a major issue with the back problem. I said, no problem, 40 days. 40 days, gee, what do you must do? I said, write this wazifa down. I will sleep on the floor. I said, put into practice. No, I can't do that. I said, I can't help you. I can't help you. If you don't want the prophetic medicine, forget about it. Come on, I issue a challenge to anybody. 3 days sunnah holiday. You say, Dubai, come back. Dubai, come back. Take me back to Dubai. Take me back to Dubai. Mohammed, you're going to Marrakesh. Just go a little bit outside of Marrakesh. It's now just coming into summer there as well, if I'm not mistaken, or coming into winter. Go to the Atlas Mountains. See how the Berbers live. See how the Berbers live in that original state of it. Do you know still in Marrakesh till today, very few families have fridges. Very few families have ever even looked at what a freezer looks like. They still cook in a communal cooking area. I've seen them, right? When people don't have stoves. So the people take the tagines, right? And they just keep it inside there, right? And that thing, just stays hot. They don't have ovens, so they have the khabbaz, the baker, right? Who, now they have such a